Hi, welcome to part 2 of our drum rehab project. If you missed part 1 took a sacrificial kit that we're going to test out some stain on, got the hardware off, messed with the grommet, went through kind of a couple different approaches for getting the tape and adhesive off. This drum had some water damage on it, so we took off that with sand and got it all prepped up. Got the drum divided into 3 sections. We're going to try 3 different types of ebony stains, see what we like to go forward with on this project. All right, so I'm going to try 3 different types of stain on here. I might get the same result because of the wood, but just kind of want to see what we're going to get in terms of how much wood shows through and whether we like what level of black it is. So I've never worked with gel stain before, so I got a little bit of general finishes. They're good. It's an oil-based gel stain in black. So we're going to use that. I'm going to go ahead and label the tape too when I get before I start, just so I remember where I put everything. So we're going to use this first. Then we're going to follow it up with Dalys. This is an ebony. It's a wood stain. Let's see. I don't know if it's oil or water. I think it might be water-based. Anyways, we're going to try this. It's a little thing. It's an ebony. I like the swatch of that. And then I've had some of this Varathane wood stain. I've used it on a bunch of different projects. I like it. So I already have this. So I'm going to stir these up and get them applied, wipe it off, let it sit, and see how it works. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so have it labeled. I'm going to start with the Varathane. I'm going to brush it on. I'm using a foam brush for all of them. I'm going to put it on, and then I'm going to wipe it off with a rag. So let's go ahead and get started. So now we've got it on. Really, it's on there pretty thick. So I'm going to wipe it off before it has a chance to set too much. I keep wiping it off, see if I can get a little more of the wood grain to show through. Again, this is the Varathane. Wasn't expecting too much. Again, the quality of the wood on here is not great. Not a ton of grain like you would get off the. Well, I'm thinking we're going to get off the maple when we do that. So. All right, we'll let that. Got everything off of there for now. See if you can see it. It'll be hard to. Okay. All right, so next we're going to go to, we're going to go to the Dalys. I do need to stir it, but now that I have stain on my hands, I don't want to touch the camera. This is definitely a water-based. Like really, really thin compared to the Varathane. This one might even be a good one to do with a rag. But we're going to keep with the approach here, and I'm going to use a brush. Yeah, you can see how light that is. Very very, very light there. I might let this set for a bit. It's nice that you can see the wood grain through it, right? Oh, shoot. Drums around. That is very light. Very, very light. But it's cool. You can see the wood through it for sure, compared to the Varathane. So we'll try the gel stain again. I've never worked with the gel stain before, so we'll give it a shot. But I might try to put some more in there. And you can see that was so, I don't know, liquid. It just ran. So it ran over here a little bit, and then I ran over here. But when looking around where the lugs are anyway. All right, so last one is the General Finishes gel. Just gonna stir it up a little bit here. Again, never worked with a gel stain before, but I'm anticipating this is gonna get probably the darkest. But again, my goal is I want to see a little bit of wood grain come through. So hopefully it's right in between the first two I did. Alright. So the last one here is the gel stain. Alright, so make sure that's on nice and even, and now I'm just going to rub it off with, much like I did with the first one, rub it off with a rag. I think that's a sanding mark you can see there, but I like that. It's kind of what I thought it'd be in between. So that's the Varathane, the Dalys, and that's the General Finishes. I'm gonna let these kind of dry and see how it looks when it's all done. So we'll see you back here in a couple hours. Quick tip, putting these in a Ziploc bag, because I only use them for like 30 seconds each. Don't want to throw them out. And if you leave them out in the air, they're going to dry out. So I put each one in a Ziploc bag, hopefully without splitting it. And then it'll be ready when I come back. All right, so quick summary, what we've done so far. Stripped down the drum, took off all the glue, did some nice damage going through the veneer in this one spot over here. So learned a little bit about, got to be really careful, particularly with cheap drums like this where the veneer is really, really thin. Abrasive sandpaper will really go take it all down. And when they're different color layers, different color plies, you're going to show the dark stuff through like we did. So not to do that next time. All right, so we did a Varathane ebony stain here. I've used this before, really like it, but for this, I think it's a little too dark, doesn't let the wood grain come through. We've got this Dalys water-based stain, really, really light. Too much water coming through, don't really like the way it works. This wood might look great on the maple, but again, not what I'm going for my project. And then lastly, we've got the General Finishes black gel stain. Really like the coverage, that it's really deep, rich, dark, but you still see wood grains and some of that coming through. So what we're going to do next is we're going to use the same technique to look at how we're going to protect this this stain once we get it on. So I'm going to use one of the other toms. I'm going to probably use that 13-inch tom right there. We're going to stain the whole thing in the gel black, let it sit, and then we're going to try a couple of different finishes on it. I want something really matte black. I know a lot of drums are really, really shiny. I also know it's really hard to do. All the videos I've watched where people have been kind of refinishing drums and doing what I'm doing here, it's really hard to get that like factory perfect clear coat on top, right? It takes a lot of buffing and all that. And ultimately what I like is I like black and I like flat black. So I'm going to go with that with this gel stain and try to do a matte finish. But I am concerned that some of these finishes will change the color of the stain. Some of them have yellows in it, and that's not what I'm looking for. So I just want to, before I go full bore into the pearl kit, just want to use this old cheap kit, try a couple other things out. So I'll do it. I'm going to post it, and let me know if you like it. Thanks. All right. We've got our General Finishes gel stain, putting it on with a foam brush. That's going to try to work quickly. Might have to work in sections. All right, so seeing this now, I probably should have put wood filler in this big gap in the seam on the veneer. We'll see if I can maybe fix that later, because that's going to look not good. All right. So a couple things on this. Again, I totally should have filled this in with wood filler, so I'm gonna have to go back and do that, and then try. Hopefully, I can just touch it up a little bit. There's gonna be lugs here, so you're only gonna see it here and here. Other thing is, I probably either should have put a little wood filler on these. Like again, if I do it on the pearl set and I see these indentations from the lugs, I'll do that. But on this one, because it's just a test, I'm not worried about it. Plus, this is pretty cheap wood. I'm not pretty sure maple is a hardwood. We shouldn't get these indentations, but if we do, either you have to sand them out, so go a little deeper in the sanding, or try to fill them. I don't know if you actually should fill them. But overall, this drum looks pretty good. I'm gonna let this dry. Yeah, I got some bangs up in here. I'm gonna let this dry. This is more deeper than the others. I'm gonna fix this up real quick. I'm gonna let this dry overnight. Oh, that didn't work. That's interesting. So we'll let this dry overnight, and then we're gonna try out our two different finishes. I'm gonna remove the green tape too, probably.